Hi, and welcome to another episode of In the Spotlight, where we shine a light on SMEs, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Today, I am joined by a very, very long standing friend, colleague, Paul. How are you, Paul?
Does that just mean we're old?
Oh my gosh. Well, I
Me,
was
not
trying to
you.
work out. I was trying to work out how long it's been
I
that
remember
we've
we
known each other.
you were back at CBRE. Yeah, I think it was 15 years ago there when I
It's
had the office in St Paul's. Yeah, I remember
it
sitting with you
goes
there on some projects.
Swiss Post and it actually goes back to early 2000.
Right,
Deutsche, when
yeah.
I was a facilities manager at Deutsche Bank.
Oh, God, right. That's before me.
Were
Yeah,
you
yeah.
around then? Were you around in Swiss Post then?
No, I think about 2002, something like that. But Deutsche Bank, they'd had that since the 90s, and they're
Yeah,
still there. So that's yeah. I did my
yeah,
training in my first week there. They took me around the mailroom, and I remember going around all
yeah.
the
That
offices there.
that's how
So yeah,
far. I think that's how far back we probably go.
yeah, okay, right, yeah.
So that's the old days anyway, but I'm so happy to have you on in the spotlight so that we can talk about yourself and talk about your journey and what you're doing now so that we can spread that far and wide
Yeah,
within the FM industry and the community. So
great.
let's let's start with just introducing yourself and your business.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Paul Sinnott. I work under a brand called Brinmore, which I'll explain a little bit more later. And I'm an SME in mail, courier, logistics, post room. As you mentioned, Maxine, my background, I work for a company called, they have many names, MailSource, SPS, Swiss Post, and now it's SPS. So we're a big outsourcer of sort of mailroom logistics services so I developed a lot of skill and expertise in that market. Worked on projects with Amazon, HSBC, Boots, a lot of big global corporates. And that was pretty good. I was there a long time, had various roles looking after some clients, some technologies, some of our solutions. Then about nearly a year ago, I made the leap to work for myself as an independent sort of consultant and broker of those services. So anything that moves that's not a person, as we call it, within sort of corporate office buildings. So going back to the old-fashioned things like post, courier, logistics for the bigger stuff, and all the related technologies, supply chain processes that hangs around that. So I have Brinmore, to explain, are a group of consultants, some who are fully employed, some who are associates like myself, and we cover because office workplace services, print, records management, some front of house, AV, reception, with a stress on technology we have there, because that's usually what's new and exciting, and also perhaps difficult to navigate and understand and to sometimes exploit. So the focus is around technology in those areas. And that's what we do.
Mm. So Paul, because you've come over to the dark side. Welcome.
That's
Oh,
why I
but
was that's
on the
why I was
light
thinking of the
side.
dark side. That's
No, no, actually, it is actually the bright side.
yeah.
So, what inspired you to actually become an entrepreneur after all these years?
I'd hankered after it for a long time. Probably bored my friends in the pub saying, "Oh yeah, I really would like to work myself," and had a few friends who'd done it, and it was a good company to work for. I did well, enjoyed my time there, but you just feel deep down when you've kind of had enough and you're pretty stale. I think a lot of people in lockdown, so yeah, you're at home a lot, have time to think, and I just felt I needed to do it just for personal development reasons,
Mm,
really. It was very much just a kind of personal thing. I can't always explain it logically. I just knew
yeah.
I sort of wanted to do it, and I'd regret it if I got to 70 or whenever we retire now, and or, you know, it's kind of easier in a way to have the monthly paycheck, isn't it? Let's face it. I mean, it's a bit of a risk, but I knew I owed it to myself to do it, and so
Yeah.
I just kind of felt in my bones I needed to do it.
Yeah, well, that brings us on to the next question, because for the audience, and if there's anyone out there that's thinking of taking the leap from a full time, which I've done myself as well, to becoming an entrepreneur, what were the initial challenges that you faced when starting this your venture?
I mean, there's a load of stuff you've got to do. You've got to have a business bank account, VAT, website. I mean, there's pretty much every business needs those kind of things. So you got to, I mean, I took quite a lot of time preparing for it before I took the leap, you know, and I'd advise you to, you know, put a plan together, don't resign, and then sort of think about what you're going to do for obvious reasons. You know, there's quite a lot of sort of back office type stuff. Well, back office in, like I say, the banking and things, you need your own email address, you need your own, you know, all that stuff. And then also the front office in, you know, the sales and marketing. And I mean, the first thing you've got to do is sell it. You know what I mean? Business is probably not going to come to you, I'm afraid. How many people you know, whatever contact list you've got, I mean, you've got to sell it. And that's, I think, the first challenge for the vast majority of businesses is, right, okay, I'm set up, I need some clients. Obviously, and I've worked a lot on the client facing side, so building a network is key. You know, starting cold is, I do still get some clients cold and work on that. So I think you've got to refresh your network, but look at your network, think about who you're going to talk to, and I think just have a real simple idea. What is it you're offering, you know? And I did some great training around that and communication and messaging. I think you've got to have a very simple message. That why should you speak to me? You know what I mean? And it's got to be simple, whether 2 or 3 sentences, one slide. You know, don't make it overcomplicated. Now, what's the value you're bringing to potential clients, and really have that worked out and steel man it, because that's, I think, the key in the first stage when you're most activities is probably going to be sales and marketing at first. So have that worked out, road test it on people and friends, and you know what I mean. I think, you know, save some money. You probably, you know, that's quite a good idea. Take time. I mean, if you want to do advisory, a lot of people I know say it's a long sales cycle, right? Yeah, if you are, a lot of people, being a consultant it's not the only thing I do, is the most kind of obvious thing people do, because it's very low cost to start. The good thing is very low cost to start up. You know, you probably already got a laptop and you've got a room in your house. So yeah, the good thing is it's low risk, low investment. But colleagues I work with say, look, it's a long sales cycle. You start talking to people, and often, you need to sow the seed. They probably come to you and they need something, there's a problem to solve. So that can happen. Yeah, you're not in control of that. You know, you probably got an area of expertise. You've probably got some value to offer. Are people going to leap at it? I mean, it tends to be, especially we talk about FM world, you know, everyone's juggling a lot of priorities and different things. There's a lot of firefighting. You know, if the lifts are not working, I'm going to, that takes over. So we both know that world really well, and got a lot of different service lines coming under. It's very broad lot of operations to look after. And look, keeping the lights on is probably more important than the post, if we're really honest. You know, there's some key ones around utilities and you know, catering's always. So yeah, it's like I say, in advisory, most people say it's quite a long sales cycle. So just don't expect to fill your boots in month number 1. You know, have a long, medium-term plan.
That's some good advice there. And just in terms of the product and service, actually, Paul, what makes it different from what's already available in the market? So can you just talk a bit?
I mean, I think they're quite complicated markets, especially courier and logistics. So to take example, really huge global corporates will have, we're working one, and they've got full-time trade compliance team who just work on customs clearance for their product, and they've probably got within their procurement team, they have specialists only procuring courier post logistics, because it's complicated. Now, obviously, if you're not if you're a medium-sized company or even quite large, there's no way you're going to have that. This is just one category, which is pretty vital to most companies. There's compliance reasons around it. You have to sort of manage it. But there's a lot of complexity too. So I bring a sort of a knowledge of that we used to work with the big, huge corporates. I could bring that knowledge and expertise and relationships to someone medium or smaller. And then there's new technologies, and I think there's stuff outside of the sort of FM corporate office market, which I work with SMEs. A lot of them are sort of manufacturers or e-commerce, because obviously shipping is vital to them. They got physical product; it's absolutely vital to them. They can't exist without it. And there's some sort of technologies and market knowledge, just of price and stuff, that was new to me in the last year. So I can sort of bring that back to the more corporate office FM market around. There's some rate shopping technologies for couriers. There's stuff you can do with post. So by expanding into different markets, you then bring back some new innovations and technologies to the one I know best.
Yeah.
So I can say, sorry.
No, I was going to say, can you share some of the innovative strategies that you've implemented in your time?
Yeah. So I mean, one is there's a sort of technologies, rate shopping tools, which is a bit like compare the market, I guess, for couriers and logistics, where the traditional thing is to go to UPS or DHL, one of the big guys, do a deal. Even big global corporates like do that. They just say, look, here we're spending $4 million a year, or 400 grand a year, or 40 grand a year, and they go to one of those guys typically, and they will get a disc. They'll get a rate of shipping something domestically or internationally. You get this big, huge rate card with lots of different weights and countries and zones on it. I know you should get a decent discount. If you've got to spend 5, 6, you'll get some kind of discount, and that's the traditional way of doing it.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But what do you find is, for instance, I mean, UPS are fine for Europe and America. They tend to be expensive for APAC. So you've got 60% off their standard tariff, but then FedEx, the standard rate is nearly half what it is. So I always say, going to one supplier, be it Royal Mail or DPD, unless you've got a very simple profile, which few people do, it's best to split your spend out to who's best at what market. So it might be Asia, it might be who's best at UK. Residential is very different from business to business, different strengths and weaknesses. So by knowing all those different niches, and then having a technology that can route the shipments in the right place, and that includes Royal Mail, they've got some really good value in some places. That's the way to maximize savings and value. If it's mission critical, you use maybe a premium service that costs £5 more, but it's you're not looking to save £5. You've got a vital project going on. So it's you bring technology and know-how to that complexity.
Yeah.
So people get the best value, right value service.
Yeah. What's the most, so just thinking about, because I know we've both been on the side of mobilizing, transitioning, and what's been over your career in mail logistics, what's been your most complex project that you've had to navigate?
A few. I mean, we probably shouldn't mention logos, but
no, let's not mention names because of
big outsourcer. One was I was really proud of it. We had a great PM, and we mobilized 8 countries in one day, and it was like UK, Jersey, Italy, Switzerland. I don't know if it might have been your time there, Matt. And we chupied like 2 people in Jersey, 5 in Italy, France, all on the same day. Had to go live. The different employment laws. EU's not all the same in terms of employment laws. It's all different. And it went. There wasn't a problem. Day one was fine, which is good news. Transferring the staff, I think, from in-house, which is always tough. The HR side of people who work for a bank for 15 years, it's an emotional, complex. It's legally it's complex, but also just management, people-wise. We went live day one, and it worked really well. So that was good. And the other one, there's the biggest deal I worked on was a huge telecom company and with a big outsourcer. You've probably guessed it. And I think just getting the contract signed took about 2 years because it was
2 years. Wow.
it's like I think it was like 15 sites, 60 people, £4 million of third-party spend, equipment. There's forklift trucks. You had to, and it all goes live. All has to go live in one day, as we know. So that's the huge.
Yeah.
So you're managing all those different factors, but it's all got to work on the day. And again, it did. So yeah, those are quite stressful. I don't want to be a project manager like you. I'll be the expert in the background telling people this is how it should work, and someone else can make it work.
Can do that, and you can be the strong advisor in working with them. So
it's all about communication, as we know. It's all about communication.
Definitely. Definitely. So 1 year in, what strategies are you looking at to grow and scale your business, and how can the audience support you in that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I started off thinking, look, who you know is better. It's much easier to tell the people you know, and I've probably been hassling all the people I've met in the last 20 years on LinkedIn. They don't all reply. And that's the obvious thing, and that's sort of sown some seeds. I know quite a lot of people, but that's not so. That's an ongoing thing. I think LinkedIn is the best channel for that. It is the obvious place. I need to post regularly. You know more about this than me. You're the expert here, but I need a discipline of. I don't want to do it every other day, but at least once a month. I think you should have something to post, and I think just useful information. Not trying to oversell, but just for me, it might be customers. Something that people just read, and then hopefully they'll just keep you in mind. So, but I'm done a bit of in the SME market. I've paid for a bit of telemarketing because I know the other advice would be, segment is a marketing term. I don't know if people will be familiar with, but work out your. So I've got two markets. One is a sort of corporate office FM we know really well, and that's more a who you know game. And I'm not cold calling people there. I'm just sort of going through my expanded network, and some can be 3 degrees of separation or whatever. But so in that, it's just look. I've got a niche bit of knowledge. If people need that or know someone, please get in touch. But then the other market is more kind of SMEs, which was newer to me. I found you really got to phone them up. So I pay a nice family company kind of phone people up on my behalf, and if they're interested, I then sort of call back. And it's been doing that last couple of months. I do think it's old-fashioned, but speaking to people is very. It's difficult to sell a business service without speaking to them when you get on email. I don't think email works. It's just spam. I go to a lot of trade fairs because at least you meet people and I can target it. That's been quite good. I've got quite a few customers from that. But I'd like to say segmenting, know who your market is in size of business, vertical. This is to marketing people kind of obvious stuff, but if you haven't done it, have a good idea of the size. Is it too big, too small? Vertical in terms of is it pharma, is it legal, whatever. And then who, like if they've got a procurement department, the job role within that organization, you need to work that out before you try to reach them. I'd say.
That's really good advice that you're giving us there. So let's just talk a little bit about future and vision. Where do you see your business in 5 years' time?
Well, hopefully bigger. I think I'd like to. I said I don't want to retire. Even when I say I don't want to do. I don't like gardening. I don't watch antiques programs, or I don't want to do Sudoku. I enjoy business and dealing with people. So I think it'd be nice to have. And one of the reasons I did part of this business, you get recurring, and that would be advice to people. If you're just doing consultancy advisory, you're always selling project to project. If there's something you can offer as an ongoing service, be it a technology that is recurring business, right? That's useful, because if you get a client and they give you money per month, that is, I think, good advice. It's quite to have some kind of business which repeats itself naturally. I mean, some do survey every year, or if it's compliance, it's good because you have to do health and safety every two, something with a recurring element. So anyway, I would like to build it up where I get, first year is mostly sales and marketing. I'd like to have a bit less of that, a bit more of the doing the business and the advisory or customer service. It's nice to get to a state where, maybe a couple of days a week, a day a week, I'm doing new business development stuff, and the rest is a bit different. I think most people would like to get to that, and I think you've got to be flexible. You don't know where I've sort of had to also plan a bit. It's inevitable. You need a plan, but it isn't going to go 100% according to plan every month.
And that's entrepreneurship, isn't it? Really, where you're pivoting and nothing's ever quite linear, and you have to be quite adaptive to the situation. I find as well.
And it sounds a bit of a cliche. Listen to the market. So we, like I said, Brinmore, we have a lot of tech. Sometimes we get excited about technologies. We put it in front of people and go, oh, yeah, that's nice. And there's one recently is it's a front of house thing. There's a couple of front of house thing and a video communication thing. Every time I put it in front of someone, they go, yeah, that's great. And just put it in front of 10, 20 people, and just if they 16 go yes, then follow that one up, and if they don't, just very early you get a feel for the kind of market kind of picks up on things quickly. So it's that, test it out with real people, and then you obviously just follow up on the one that people seem to bite on.
So how, as an entrepreneur now, Paul, how do you maintain your work-life balance?
I think it's part of one of the other reason I really wanted to. I've been based at home for 20 years. I never liked the week when I'm at home 5 days a week, and corporate was getting all doing this. So this is fine. I'm really enjoying this, but if it's Zoom Teams every day, it's not healthy. I don't think. But obviously my office is. You can see the windows in my office. I mean, I go to the gym. I take the dog out. I think fresh air, exercise, get out of the four walls. Physical and emotional, mental health are all very closely related. I go to the gym a couple of times a week, and like I say, I do that, and then I switch off I occasionally do a bit of work at the weekend, but only if I feel like it. Sometimes I'd rather just do something. I feel better if I do something and finish it than have it hanging. So mostly evenings and weekends, I just switch off the phone and do family and other stuff. It's just sensible stuff, but don't get too obsessed by it.
It's quite important.
It does take over your world. It takes over your brain, doesn't it? Because it's your own project, your own baby kind of thing. And that's, a good and bad side to it. I mean, it's exciting, but it can get a bit obsessive, I guess. And, try to just step away from it and read a book and, get away from it.
I like to use the word, it's you're passionate about it because you want it to succeed. You want to tell the world about it. And it can be a fine balance, especially when you've got family around and, if you've got dependents as well. Some of the audience, I mean, I'd never be put off starting another business or starting another venture, but there's always that, it's not going to fall in your lap. Like you said, you've got to just be consistent at what you're doing. And I read somewhere the other day about, don't be afraid of the no's. And someone was saying that for every, maybe, don't quote me on this, I think 300, was it every 300 calls or something? There was only like a few yeses. We'll get used to, build, be for the audience,
One bit of advice I'll give, having done a lot of sales in my career before, look, no is quite a good answer. The worst answer is, maybe email me, because they just mean no. They're being polite. And it's much better, don't have when those people follow up, but what you don't want is a big pipeline of maybes, because you think, there could be a lot there, and you can't help but hoping 19 times out of 20 those people don't bite and they don't buy. So no is actually, and I'm like that with people. It's not a British thing. We tend to be a bit over polite and just say no, sorry, I'm not interested. It's much better for the person selling, because
Yeah.
at least you can move on. Whereas a kind of maybe, and then so you email them a week later and you follow up. It's wasted emotion as well as time, because you get your hopes up about those.
Yeah.
And after 5 calls, you realize, look, they're not gonna. They just don't want to say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one. It's one that's the ones you win count, and the others you just forget in the long term. Yeah, so yeah, persistence is. I mean, persistence and sort of doggedness is that's you need that.
Yeah, and I do really believe that there is. I mean, we work in global. I mean, facilities management and the industries we work in, they're global industries. So I always think it's never saturated. There's always someone that wants to buy. It's just that signaling and just keep going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how do you ensure that you will stay as the go-to expert in this specialized area?
Yeah, I mean, you've got innovation and technology isn't new for very long, is it? So I think you've got to, I like to do. I actually think, although the best way I find is kind of network and go to events, trade shows, meet people. The best ideas and insights usually is still kind of word of mouth, I find. I mean, I know you can spend months on the internet, LinkedIn and Google stuff. You just find old. I don't even find any new news there. You know what I mean? So and the sort of lateral. I went to a trade. It was like a packaging trade show, and I was looking for clients, but then I found one company making cardboard pallets. The Polish company. So instead of the pallet has to be very strong, but it is really strong. You can put 1,000 kilograms on it, but so it weighs 5 kilograms, so 20 kilograms. So in terms of logistics and emissions, so you're saving 20 kilograms per pallet on a lorry for every ship, and it's made recyclable. So all that stuff. Now, that was totally. I wasn't planning to find that, obviously. So it's just if you engage with people and go out, you'll find stuff. But that was just not what I was looking for. And another thing had this recyclable pouch. So if you get a courier pouch, it's traditionally one of those poly bags that's glued. You've probably seen as you get a delivery. Well, they are recyclable and they biodegradable, but they're one-off use. So this was a cardboard type thing that you can reuse and reuse. It's a Danish company were making. So again, newish to me. I think corporates would really like that in terms of sustainability. So I find it's just engaging with lots of people, different sectors, different industries, and you find that lateral thinking takes that was for packaging, not for FM, but actually I reckon corporates would really like it if they weren't using single-use plastics in their sort of distribution. They're using reusable, not recyclable, reusable ones, which is better. So just I think
that's really important as well, especially for couriers and the different types of packaging that couriers would use for parcels, and I guess manufacturing as well. It's all changing. Have you noticed actually it is changing?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's trying to do their bit with sustainability now. You've obviously got electric vehicles, cargo, but you go around central London, see these cargo bikes, which is like a rickshaw is pedalled, and so it is developing. I think electric aircraft and lorries is a bit of a way off. But one thing you can do is consolidate. I mean, it's kind of a lot of people. You have a lot of small companies who collect and then they put it into DHL and UPS. Well, you're adding a journey, so maybe it's not the best in terms of SMEs, but actually, FedEx have got a van going around your neighborhood anyway. So part of it is just consolidating the supply chain. At Royal Mail, if you printed a big central print center, they're sending a lorry in rather than sending 20 vans to 20 buildings to collect. So centralization and consolidation can do as much as electric vehicles. So there's lots of angles, and I think it's just incremental. It's not there's no one magic wand. There's lots of incremental things you can do to reduce emissions. So obviously that's priority for lots of people. There's loads of ideas I can bore you with. I won't on this call, but I've got a whole list of things you can do around sustainability.
Yeah. It would be really great after the show, sharing some stuff with me, and then I can actually push that out to the audience.
Sure.
Speaking of which, actually, how can listeners get a hold of you and contact you? What's the best way?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is the best. Luckily, I've got quite a rare surname, so you can, if you look for that, there's a few of us out there. But yeah, Paul Sinnott on LinkedIn. Brinmore is, I work through them as a kind of brand, brinmore.co.uk. I'm sure I got my contact details on LinkedIn, so anyone wants to, happy to take a call or email from anyone. Just reach out.
And then some final thoughts and words of wisdom. Is there a book, podcast, or resource that has been particularly influential for you?
Yeah, I think in business, there's a guy called Andy Bounds who is a kind of marketing, sales, communication expert. I did a 2-day call. He's just great. Google him. The way he teaches you to communicate with people in your messaging, I think anyone in any business can learn. I'd recommend him. I mean, personally, I like a guy called Sam Harris. He does more meditation and political stuff. He's quite a well-known American guy. I enjoy his stuff. I think he's, just really worth listening to. So I'd say those two, and Maxine Crowe, of course. Of course, ahead of all of them.
This spotlight is for you.
No.
Any last messages or words of wisdom for the audience that are listening?
Like I said, when I left, I reached out to loads of people. You find other people who've done it are really helpful. Some of them, I mean, you have been, and there's a few guys some I didn't know really well. Some people are just really generous. They email, say, look, let's have a chat. I'll try and promote you. And you will find, people like to help, I think. And if they've done it themselves, they just reach out to lots of people. People aren't going to come to you. You got to, mostly. So reach out to people. But a lot of people will help you and support you, because you're not in a team. That's what you're not in a team. You don't have a boss, So that it is a bit, you kind of, you're a lone wolf out there. But there's lots of people. You'll be surprised. Lots of people want to help and support and generate their sort of time and contacts and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. So this has been In the Spotlight with Paul Sinnott from Brinmore. Paul, thank you so much for your time today. And don't forget to send me that list.
Will do.
We can share that. Take care.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye.